Hey monkeys, we're back. You're watching Guitar Quackery Live. Here's a headless guitar. It's a custom built. Um, the maker calls these Reloved guitars. Reloved, okay, guitars. So it's a headless guitar with a fixed hardtail bridge. So it's not a tremolo bridge. Um, it's fixed hardtail bridge. It's somewhat unusual. If you don't know what you're doing, you can mess it up. I had to do some research because I've never worked on this type of bridge before. Now, fortunately, it turns out that it's surprisingly easy to set it up, but it's unsurprisingly also easy to mess it up and to break it, which is why I need to do a full inspection of what's there before I do too much work, right? So we are going to do a full inspection in this video, look at everything, and that's just for my own archival purposes. This is part of the job, right? First, let's see what it looks like. So this is it. Um, this is these are the fine tuners. It uses a 5 mm Allen key size, right, to wind the string and also to tune it. But there's a hidden compartment here, so this is the little accessory you would use. Now, this is not magnetic, but this is magnetic. So, yeah, so if you have one of those bridges, don't lose this little thing. I'm going to do my inspection here under the microscope, and we are going to remove the strings today. Now, this is a project that I've been meaning to start for 3 weeks. So I'm estimating 3 hours worth of work on this guitar to do a full setup. I've already spent some time researching, to be honest, but it's all right. You know, this is part of the job. So now let's have a closer look at this. I want to make sure, because it's easy to break things, according to one of the videos there I watched. So I just want to make sure that everything works before I do too much work, that nothing is broken and that no fine threads are stripped. It uses 4 sizes Allen keys, 1.5 mm, 2 millimeters, and 2.5 millimeters, and then 5 millimeters for the fine tuners. And we are going to look at everything right now. So this is it. It only has this name stamped on, or it's not stamped. It's it's a cast, licensed by KD. It says patent. And once again, this is the winder tool, and this is how you can remove the string. Okay, so this works. I wasn't expecting it to not work, but I'm happy to see that it does work. So we are going to remove all the strings, and I guess I'm going to save the strings just to kind of see how long they are. So this goes through, and now we can remove the string entirely, right? So this is how we kind of set it up before we feed the new string in. Let me put this camera here. And look, there's a mosquito here. Where's my secret weapon? Oh, deadly weapon. Sorry. Deadly weapon for mosquitoes. Secret. It's not a secret to us. It's a secret to the mosquitoes. They only learn once. And once they learn, about the secret weapon, it's too late. They can never use this knowledge in the future. So this is how long the string was. Okay, so once again, I'm pretty much just archiving that so I can look at my own archival video if I need to go back to this point in time and see how I did everything, right? And here we can remove the next string. I'm not sure if it's easier to use this, perhaps. Now, I saw in one of the videos that these need to be kept loose. So there's also a Phillips head screw here, and you're not supposed to tighten it. It needs to be kept loose. So that's important. All right, so I see that there's a viewer here. It's a rubbish guitar bloke. Hello to you. Well, I need to show my face, right? There's a viewer, a rubbish guitar bloke. Okay, so we are doing string removal on this bridge now. I already removed one string, and here we have, so this is the string I removed, and we are now removing this string. So I'm not sure if they were cut to the same length. I'm not sure if that matters too much, but let's see. So let's compare the two. Yeah, they were cut to the same length, more or less. Okay, so I guess they're probably all cut to the same length. Here is the D string. It is weird that these are so loose, but according to this video that I watched, you're not supposed to tighten these screws too much. So this is clearly a Phillips head. I'm going to have a closer look at this later. So I'm not sure if it's easier to use this included little accessory, or maybe it's just easier to use this. Let me see. Yeah, actually this works really well. Okay, so since I'm doing a full inspection of this, maybe now I want to look at these saddles. I noticed that on this bridge, these are the screws that are supposed to lock the string height, you know, in other words, the action. As you can see, it's loose, it's moving, because this wasn't locked, and I noticed that all of them were loose. And you can see that this saddle is moving, and that's because this screw was loose. And this screw adjusts the height. So the string would be pushing this down, I guess. I am learning. Yeah, you see this is loose. And this, yeah, so the string is pushing down on the saddle. But if you crank up the screw, it's raising the saddle, okay? And that was loose as well. So the intonation was off on this one. Let's remove this string now. So since I'll be doing a full setup on this, I will make sure that everything is tightened properly, but not over tightened. And I'm really curious to know why it is that supposedly these screws that are holding the fine tuners need to be so loose. I'm not sure I believe that 100%. maybe what the other YouTuber meant was that they shouldn't be over tightened. Well, if I recall, it was actually a video by the guy that made this guitar. He has some videos on how to set this up, but I had to also watch some other videos on YouTube. It's okay. How much more? So I'm going to clean everything and just really make sure that things aren't too loose or too tight, because that can lead to problems. Even if things are too loose, you can get more wear and tear. Like right now, I really feel this is a little bit too loose. But I don't know. I don't have experience with this bridge. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now let's have a look at this. I'm not going to over tighten anything. I just want to see, kind of use my best judgment. So I am tightening this very lightly. This is very lightly tightened. And this actually feels better. I don't think it should be as loose as this. Again, if we look through the microscope, now this is still loose, but this is, in my opinion, it shouldn't be loose like this. So this should be a little tighter. Now I can't actually do this like that. I need to move the microscope aside. Okay, and everything can be disassembled. So here we have, what is this, a 1.5 millimeter screw here. So if I remove the screw completely, here it is. Yeah, we don't want to lose it for sure. We can remove the saddle. And this is how it looks. So let's see. So this screw is pushing it up. And if you loosen the screw, the string will be pushing it down automatically, right? That's how it works. Okay. So I did remove the strings. And I guess we can clean all the saddles, and this way I really get to inspect everything. So the goal is to make sure that everything works and that no one that worked on a guitar in the past over tightened anything or stripped any threads. Those are really fine threads, really small screws. I can see how things can go wrong. Okay, so let's get busy. I have this brush. I guess you can use a toothbrush. I have a toothbrush and I have this brush which is a little more stiff. So let's see what works. I'm simply going to use this guitar cleaner spray. And maybe I'll use the softer toothbrush. Oh, on this side, we actually see how this works. That's interesting. So let me have a look at this. And here we have the, where's the 1.5 millimeter? Okay. So let's raise it up. And here we go. So this is it. This is the mechanism. So we were looking at this before. And now we have this screw that locks this mechanism, locks it in place. But this screw here is going to be pushing it upwards. So it pushes it upwards. It's really good to understand how things work. But if you release the screw, nothing happens if there's no string. And if the string is here, then it's going to be pushing it like that. Okay, I now totally fully understand how this works. So I guess we can remove this and inspect it. Yeah. And this is, there's some grease there. Okay. I think it looks good. So I'll put it here, and then I am going to tighten this one just a little bit, just so that it holds this part in place. Okay. Okay, so the high E saddle passes inspection. Here we are going to just clean it. So I'm just going to spray it a little bit and remove this. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so I need to organize my work area. I do have this tray that I sometimes use for Floyd Rose disassembly. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So this is just a vegetable tray at my local grocery store. When you buy some vegetables, I think this is ginger, it comes in this, but look at this, it's got 6 of these, and you can put little screws like this in these compartments, and in this case this saddle. So I'll put the high E saddle here and the corresponding screw right there, I guess, and we'll keep this here. And now, as I am disassembling, I just keep them there. So all of these screws were loose. So whoever adjusted the intonation didn't tighten them. They're all loose. So the saddles were basically just held in place. Look, you see they wiggle by just string pressure, and you can move them up and down. So yeah, so this definitely was not properly adjusted. Maybe at some point it was, but then everything shifted and moved. Okay. So now that I keep everything organized like this, I know exactly which saddle is for which string. No problem. And now I wonder if, yeah, so I already talked about this. So these are basically just a little bit too loose, right? So this does need to be tightened just a little bit. Apparently it's delicate. And I guess I can remove each individual segment for servicing. So the screw is loose, that's 2.5 millimeters, and this one is 2 millimeters. Okay, and once again, I can put this screw here, and can this saddle come out? So I see a mosquito here. There you go. So I think I also need to loosen this screw. Or maybe not, I don't know. Or maybe it's not really necessary to remove this. I mean, I was just going to inspect everything and clean everything. Maybe there's a screw from the bottom holding it. I don't know. So at this point, let's just clean it with a toothbrush. And I actually don't think that I need to disassemble everything, but it was a good idea to take the saddles off, for sure. So there's just some dust and, dirty stuff. It does look a little greasy as well. Yeah, and I didn't forget about this screw. I know it's right there. So we'll put it back now. Is this the right side? No, this is the right size. 2 millimeters for this screw. So make sure if you work with small threads like this, that you don't cross thread anything, just gentle. And when you're sure that it's catching, that's when you screw it in and then tighten lightly. So I'm now just checking to see if all of them are. Oh, this one was completely loose, you see. And this one needs to be tightened as well. What about the rear screws? Okay, I just put this one back. That's tight enough, tight enough. So these seem to be tight enough. And these, I just used my best judgment. So this one was completely loose. Okay, just lightly tighten, okay. So let's kind of test this thing. Yeah, it's weird how it's supposed to be kept loose. And this one doesn't quite feel the same. Okay, so yeah, well, we already know that this works because we were turning these before. So yeah, I think that's fine. And we have these screws here. I want to make sure that they are tight. I mean, there are just the mounting screws. Well, the bridge needs to be mounted properly. Okay. Okay. It looks fine. And now I want to clean those saddles. So I have my guitar cleaning spray here and just a paper towel, I guess. I'll start with this one. When I work on a Floyd Rose system, I often disassemble everything, which is why I have this tray. Clean everything so that everything works fine. So I'm just using the same logic for this one. And I'm testing these screws just to make sure that they feel good. So this one, again, the tightening screw is completely loose. Now the string height adjustment screw or action adjustment screw was just a little dusty. There was a bunch of dust here. Put it back, tighten this one lightly so that it doesn't fall out, and put the saddle back. Okay. Now, I'm going to use the same logic for this bridge that I use for the Floyd Rose, or actually for any other bridges that I'm servicing. I'm going to dial in the compensation. I'm going to kind of eyeball it. I mean, I'm going to take a measurement of the scale length of this guitar. So let's see. It's a little more than 25.5 inches scale length. Let's document this with this camera. So here we push it against the nut. Now these strings are kind of in the way. And then we read this. So it's a little more than 25.5 inches, which means that now when, so we measured at the 12th fret. So now we go to the 12th fret here to set up the position, you know, roughly for this saddle. So we compensate just a little bit. So this is too overcompensated right now, I think, which means I am going to move the saddle a little bit. Is this the right size? No. A little bit in that direction. And let me tighten it. So this still looks a little greasy here. Okay. And let's see. I think it's still overcompensated, but we like to do that. We like to overcompensate a little bit and then move the saddles in that direction. So now I'm just going to continue the cleaning and reassembly and inspection of all the screws and all the threaded connections, all the threads. Works fine. Okay, so this is going smoothly. So this customer is using a wound G on this guitar, and he gave me a pack of strings. Where are they? Oh, they're in the uh, gig bag there. Okay, so they're outside. I'm going to look at that later. But here, we're reassembling this. There are a few videos online on how to set up these bridges. And I believe I watched all of them, all of the existing ones. Some of them are quite long. So the little screw. Again, I'm repeating myself, but I'm just making sure that we don't have any stripped threads. Everything seems to be working fine. So the saddle looks like brass, the actual saddle, but the shell that holds the saddle looks like some kind of, I hope not pot metal, but something, maybe aluminium or aluminum. I think that's what it is, yeah. Not sure. Let's test it with a magnet. It's not magnetic. Okay. So because it's using a wound G, the next saddle needs to be even closer to the pickup. And then we go back. The B string is a plain string, so we go back. And this compensation is not dialed in properly, right? I'm just roughing it in. That's standard operating procedure. It's a very interesting guitar. It is my understanding that it's kind of almost like Frankenstein. The neck is from an Ibanez guitar, and then he made the body. I'm not sure if it was from a headless Ibanez or if he converted the neck to a headless design. I'll have a closer look later. Okay, so far so good. And since I already cleaned the high E, I only need to clean this one now. Yeah. So maybe this won't be as much work as I had anticipated. I was estimating 3 hours of work to do the whole setup on this guitar. We'll see. It's been 35 minutes so far, and I'm basically done servicing the bridge. So once again, I had already cleaned the high E saddle before, which is why I didn't clean it now. It was already clean. And where's my toothbrush? Okay, here. Okay, we'll dial in the proper intonation compensation later. So what's next? Let's remove these strings completely. And I'm going to save them because I want to see if they were all, you know what, I should look at this now, if they were all cut to the same length. I want to know. So we have this, that's the high E string. So the high E was cut longer. And then we have the B. So this guitar never goes out of tune, I'm told. Okay, also cut a little longer. Come on. So the strings are now tangled up together. What is this? Is this the G? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so it seems like the wound strings starting from the G were cut to this length. I already measured the A and the low E, so let's just look at the D, which is this one. Yeah. So the G, D, A, and E were cut to this length, and then the B and the E, the high E, were cut longer. And, you know, I don't think they had to be cut longer. Yeah, I guess it works either way. All right. So now I think we can just remove the strings completely. And I'll just look at the nut. So the best way to remove them is just to cut them here because this is just getting tangled up. All right. I'll just cut them here. That's it. I recycle them. And then we'll look at the, well, I don't want to call it a headstock, whatever, the nut, and I don't even know what you call that part that holds the strings on a headless guitar. I'm sure there's a name for it. I don't want to lose this, right? This is magnetic. It goes here. Oh, the other way. This way. Okay. So there's a string retainer right there. I'll remove it. Oh, this is also licensed by KD. Just like what it says on the bridge. And I can use my tray for these as well. Okay, so now we can just remove these strings. And let's put the tray here. Let's have a look at this. I am not going to disassemble any of this. I am just going to clean it, nothing more. So I don't know what company this is. KD, is it KD Patent or KD? Licensed by KD Patent. Okay, and then we have these. This looks like it could be a 2.5 millimeter. Let's see. No. Is this a 2 millimeter? Yeah, okay. So we'll see if we need to adjust these once we do the setup. But this one is tight. And now this one is, I'm tightening it very lightly. I'm just, you know, yeah, okay. And now we have access to all the frets. So first thing I'll do now is I'm going to just brush the frets. Oh, look, there's an audience. 12 people watching. Okay. So maybe I'll take some footage from this live stream to make my own video of how to set up this bridge. I don't know. I already made a kind of like a recording of the, you know, just visual, not really inspection, but just to show the bridge. So I made a recording, and maybe I'll make a video, you know, I'll use that recording, and then I will also use some of the footage that I'm recording now, or streaming now. Okay, so here, so I'm just going to clean the fingerboard. So I see a little bit of string cheese. I'm sorry, not string, fret cheese. Those are just skin deposits. It's part of the job. I deal with this every day. This is a soft brass brush, by the way. It doesn't do anything to the frets. I just use this brush for my preliminary fret cheese removal cleaning. It's very effective. Much better than steel wool for sure. Okay, so now let's place it like this. Let's see. So there should be a truss rod adjustment here. There is, I guess it must be a 4 millimeter. Let's check. 4 millimeter. So well, it's really, really tight. I don't even know if it needs to be adjusted. We'll see. Okay, now I want to know if we have any uneven frets on this fretboard. So just a standard inspection with the fret rocker. Now you won't be able to hear the rocking sound because I'm using a headset dynamic microphone. So you'll just have to take my word for it. Let me just put this here. I just made this makeshift neck rest for this guitar because it's pretty low on the workbench. Oh, there's a little bit of a high spot here. Oh, and quite a high spot here. I'm not sure if you hear this. Okay, so we want to hit it with a fret kisser. We'll polish all the frets anyway. So, right there, yeah. Let's support this part of the neck here. Okay. It's still a little high. And where's my brush? Here it is. Just a little bit more. I don't even see any fret wear on this fretboard. Now, since we touched this, we need to check this one again. All right, so it wasn't detecting a high fret before, but I guess it was slightly lower, right? So it wasn't rocking. It doesn't show if it's lower, it just shows if it's higher. And now this one is good. This one is good. This one is a little high. So overall, it's pretty good. But yeah, we found 2 uneven frets so far. Finish off in this direction. So now we worked on this fret. We want to check this one. So now it reads a little high. And in fact, I can use this to do both frets at the same time. Just a little more. And obviously now because we worked on this one, we want to check this one. So this one's good, good, good. Okay. All right. So far so good. Just a little hump here. Just on this side. The customer wasn't complaining about any fret buzz, but you know, when I do a setup, I do a full fret dress, and that's just part of what I do. And now I'm going to take the short sanding beam with a really fine grit, 600 and 800 grit. So whatever the fret rocker couldn't catch, I'll be able to, you know, just kind of catch it with this. And yeah, so it's 600 and this, no, I'm sorry, 600, 800, right? So I'll use the finer grit because I'm not expecting anything. I'm basically just touching up the tops. As you can see, I'm doing it in this direction, not like that. And now I just move slowly in this direction. Maybe I skip a fret. Okay. Keep cleaning this. So this is not what I would consider a level crown and polish job, because it isn't. Although you could kind of say that it is. I call this the premium fret dressing. The fret kisser doesn't actually catch everything, right? So now I'm looking at the frets. So they have a, so basically I remove the oxides with this, and they have a pinstripe that's really shiny, and I'm looking at that reflection as I move. So this camera can't see it, but you know, I see it, just making sure that the reflection isn't interrupted. So here I barely removed any material with this, maybe on this one. So, but I do want to recrown this fret for sure a little bit, because it did flatten it a little bit, right? So now with the crowning file, I'm just going to hit it, and I don't need to mark it off in red because I'm just looking at the reflection. Okay, so that was the centered Z file, and this is the classic Z file, which is two-sided. And you kind of need to tilt it. And then the other side needs to be used. Right? And the Z file that I'm using now, it's very old. This is the identical file that's new. As you can see, this thing is rubbed off on this one. It's so old. It looks much older, right? I replaced it at some point, and I kept the old one. It's good for fine work. And then we have here Yeah, this one. Yeah, that's enough. I don't even need to do the other one. Again, I'm looking at the reflections. Okay, this is a bolt-on neck. So I could remove the fret to do all the polish. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, the neck, not the fret. I could remove the frets to do all the polishing. There's no need to remove this, and I don't want to remove it. I don't want to do more work than needed, especially on a kind of a custom-built guitar. So if this was a Fender or something really known territory, I would maybe remove it, but not on this one. Okay, so it is late. Yeah. It's been 56 minutes and 53 seconds. I am going to do the fret polishing and buffing next time, not tonight, because that always takes longer than than you think. But just so I don't lose any parts, okay, let me clean this string tree or stop bar. No, string bar, whatever it's called. I don't even know. Okay. And I'm simply going to put it back. Yeah. It goes in this direction. That's how it was. All right. Right there. Okay, so that's it for now. So this is now, it has its own playlist. It's a nice little guitar. I'm not really into headless guitars, personally. I don't own one. But yeah, I like the mojo of this guitar. I mean, it's, the body's handmade. The neck is Ibanez reclaimed or something. Look at it. Easy to carry around and never goes out of tune, I'm told. I think that's what he told me. My volume is really low. Really? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this better? I guess I hit a button or something. Sorry about that. Okay. Kind of nice looking guitar. I bet it will be a nice player when you're done. Yeah, it will be. It's already a nice player. Okay, friends, so I need to go. Sorry about the low volume. I didn't notice. I don't know how that happened. I thought I set the volume. And yeah, I'll see you next time. So yeah, next time. Bye-bye.